What's up, Cloudheads, and welcome back to Clouded Stocks Weekly Wisdom for the week of June 21st, 2023. Never a recommendation, simply musings and some observations. Today, we're diving right into the new Wednesday format where we jump it off with a notable book quotable for something leading up to the week so far and could be relevant for the rest of the week moving forward. We'll also be deep diving into 5 ETFs where we talk about their relevance for the rest of the week and how that could impact your trading. And also for the first time, a one chart deep dive where we go across all of the relevant time frames. So stay tuned and let's boogie. Getting interested will get you started, but commitment gets you to the finish line. The first and best investment you can make is an investment in yourself, a commitment to do what it takes to persist. Persistence is more important than knowledge. You must persevere if you wish to succeed in anything. Knowledge and skill can be acquired through study and practice, but nothing great comes to those who quit. And isn't that just the truth? This market has been so gosh darn frustrating for about a year, year and a half, maybe even 2 years, depending on how you look at it. But if you were to quit, you would miss this next bull market run, which is right around the corner. I can feel it. Even if it's not. Don't quit. Don't give up. Persistence is the way to thrive and move forward, just like our boy, Mark Minervini said. And now for a look at some ETFs. Here we are with QQQ, the NASDAQ 100. Starting with the top 10 holdings, we can see that 58.69% of their assets are in the top 10 holdings. And what exactly are those? Well, we've definitely got some big dogs with Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Nvidia leading the holdings by far, but also Meta, Google, Tesla, Broadcom, and PepsiCo rounding out the top 10. IWM is one to key in on for your smaller cap focus. We can see much more diversification in the top 10 holdings with only 3.63% in the top 10. Let's see what they are. And just as we suspected in IWM, the top holdings are not as heavily weighted, with each of the top 3 under 0.5%. But we got some SMCI, Suave, Inspire, Medical, Apellis Pharmaceuticals, Iridium, Celsius, all kind of good stuff in here. Focus on this for the little guys of the market. SMH for our semiconductor focus, we can see a huge concentration in the top 10 with 67.11% in there, making SPY seem like potatoes. Within the top 10, we can see that the top 2 occupy even heavier space, making up almost 30% of the SMH ETF. Check out the rest of the stocks on the list to see where semiconductors could be moving. Hopefully we get some DAPP from our crypto cloud heads, because it's DAPP, and we can see a heavy focus in the top 10 with 66.78 in the top 10. What's under the hood? Despite major crypto controversy, the industry itself has been pretty unfazable. This is a mix of some mining companies, brokerages, etc., but you can see that all of them are pretty heavily weighted in the top 10, so some stocks to keep an eye on as far as crypto moves. And last up, to look at what our movers and our shakers and our newer companies of America are doing, IPO, with just south of 50% of the assets in the top 10 holdings. And here they are with over 25% in the top 3, Snowflake Inc., Airbnb Inc., and Palantir Technologies Inc. A lot of these are interesting names that I like to trade. You got DoorDash, Coupang, Li Auto, Roblox, Coinbase. Fascinating names in here, and the movers and the shakers often depend on where this bull market is going. So if some of these younger IPO upstart names can start to emerge, perhaps the bull will be following in the same direction. But let's do our deep dive one time for the crypto kids with DAPP, DAPP. Our first area of interest on DAPP is, when did this thing come about? When did it IPO? So looking at the monthly max on DAPP, we can see that it was in 4/1 of 2021 that this first even came around as an ETF. Now, looking into our current month right here, we can see that it is trying to pull out of an inside month formation. So you got the high wick here. Bam. You got the low wick there. Boom. The previous month, which was, let's see, 5/1/23, of course, just last month, did not go above the high. It did not go below the low of this month either. So this is your inside month, this little action right here, because this guy is inside of that guy. Didn't mean it like that. DAPP has not gone above the high of this month or below the low of this month. This month, currently, you can see that it is trying to shoot above the activation bar, which is ultimately this high point. So that was 6.09. Right now, we are at 6.33. Some other monthly areas of interest would be the wick high right here, 6.7, and the wick high right here, 6.63. So let's just connect to the 6.7 for just a second. We can see that that forms a nice kind of even line on this chart here. So perhaps we get up to that 6.7 area. Let's just call it around 7. Maybe that's going to be our magnet point of resistance like it has been in the past. So blowing through 7 on DAPP looks a little interesting on the monthly chart. Now we can check out the weekly chart since we're kind of taking our time on some of these time frames here for once, just grabbing a breather, 60 seconds. Whew, it's hard to go through a whole stock in 60 seconds. Okay, so here we are on the weekly chart. We can start to see some interesting things on that weekly chart. So let's go. Wait, what the heck? 37.84? I don't know what this thing is even talking about. Wait. 37. Oh, yeah. 37.84. That's where we started on the monthly. Okay. Weekly. Wake up. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long hour. So let's go to the weekly since we can't take up a whole week in 5 seconds. Sometimes I wish I could. Here we are. Hourly. We got this little formation that we can zoom in and focus on just a little bit better. If only our tools would allow us. So there we are. And how about that? Kind of rounding out this big cup. We had a low of 252 on 12/26 of 22. Hasn't touched that ever since. Let's see. Whoop, joop, whoop, joop. Okay, and now we've entered the cloud. So basically what that little whoop, joop, whoop action I was describing is this thing has kind of gone above this 9-period line. The 9-period line is a weekly look here. So you take the 9-week high, you take the 9-week low, you divide it by 2. Same formula as with the orange line, the 26 period, the 26-week line, 26-week high, plus the 26-week low, you divide that by 2. So basically moving average lines, but they put a little bit heavier weighting onto the highs and the lows, which if you use candlesticks and you follow maybe the strategy, candlesticks are very important when you consider the highs and the lows, and that's essentially what the Ichimoku Cloud allows us to do. So ever since we passed that 9 here, we had one dip under, but then once the 9 crossed above the 26, it's been riding this 9 pretty smoothly ever since that. So now we've finally reached this big red cloud of volatility where you'd want to see this green line above the red line, which means that span A is above span B, and that would give us a nice pretty looking blue cloud. And ideally, if you're on an uptrend, you want to be riding that blue cloud up the chart. I bet you anything when we look at the daily, it's going to show you exactly what I mean here. But being in this whole entire red cloud shows you that DAPP, maybe it's not going to go on a straight rocket ship up. Maybe it's not going to straight plummet down. Maybe it's just going to be a little bit volatile from here because it is stuck in this large red cloud. Where to exit, it's got to get above 1182. And to go underneath, it's got to go underneath $4.81. So actually going under the cloud is closer than exiting this cloud. But yeah, let's just see. I mean, I wouldn't want to call this thing too far extended. Like I said, it's riding along that 9-week line pretty nicely there. The 9-week line is pretty far extended from the 26. So I would not be terribly surprised to see a pullback in this thing, especially given you just put your cursor right here. You look all the way left across, touch some other high points, some other areas of resistance. Could be right here as well. Let's put our cursor right here. Oh, look, it's almost connecting perfectly to the high point of this week. So from this week all the way over to there. Now this is an imperfect way to look at price. None of these are perfect, and that's the point. You could look at only volume. You could look at only price. You could look at only Ichimoku Cloud. You could look at only candlesticks. Together, they mean more than they do individually. So right now we're looking at, was this guy kind of a base? Did we form that cup? Could be, could be. You know, maybe we get a little handle here. Maybe it lasts for a while. I don't really know. Again, let's look at the daily time frame on DAPP and just see what's moving with this guy. And like I said, I bet you we're going to see a nice blue cloud. And there she is, right there, right on cue. So you can see that the daily has a nicer look to it. Again, we'll put our cursor right here and just kind of see what happened to the left and to the right as we go through. So this first point, let's start right there. To the right, you can see that from 414, we got this again on 418. We got it again on 6-1. We got it again on 6-2. So those high points were all around 6 and some change, 609, 604 over here. And then just yesterday on 620, we launched through all of those, closing at $6.12. Today hitting a high of $6.52. So could this be the short-term high? You got this, if you zoom in just a little bit more, you got that wick on the candlestick, meaning that it went as high as 652, closing down here, however, at 633, which was actually below where it opened. And then underneath that, you got the nine period, which is now 9 days, the 9-day line at $5.93, the 26-day line at $5.74. So possibly pulling back to 6, maybe just south of 6, could give you a safer entry on DAPP. This thing has tons of room to go, obviously, as far as cryptocurrency and the companies behind it go. But one more look at the monthly here just to see where it's been. It was up at 37.84, just a couple, 2-3 years ago. So this thing could have some room. Again, it's got to clear some resistance points on the monthly, which connects to the weekly. That area of volatility, that big red cloud like we talked about, which of course connects to the daily. And last up, real quick, rounding out of the bases, we'll look at the intraday. Gotta love that 1 hour time frame. And on the 1 hour, you can also see when you zoom in just a little bit, we'll look at the last several days. The days are the periods in black here. In between the days are the periods in white. So you can see today, it gapped right up. It didn't even want to open at where it closed yesterday. It gapped up. Eventually, it ran into the 9-hour line, the 9 period, the 9-hour line by the time the day ended. So could that be what causes it to start to pull back and retreat? If you go down below, you'll see that the 26-hour line is actually that 6 price that we just mentioned from the daily. So again, if you're going to take anything from this, it's time frame continuity. The monthly connects to the weekly, connects to the daily, connects to the hourly, connects to the minute, and you want those all to line up to see where this thing could be moving next. That's all I got for you this week, Cloud Heads. Really hope you enjoyed Wednesday Wisdom, and we'll see you tomorrow.